Hey, Fandom, it's me, Aaron, for a comic show. I'm back from C2E2 where I did a workshop at the Diamond Retailer Summit about adding beer or food to your comic shop, which I'm pretty much an expert at. You know, I did that for a good long while, and my area of expertise is like comics and I guess craft beer-ish, and maybe raising young children-ish. I don't know. I'm really smart about the Imagine X toys because I've been hunting those down for my son. But anyway, you guys care about comics. C2E2 was a blast. CB, the new editor-in-chief of Marvel, had a lot of great ideas, a lot of passion. He gave this heartfelt address to us as retailers. And he said it's all about making memories, Marvel memories, like memories in the comic shop, memories with your friends, maybe your father or family member, the emotional attachment we have to these characters and how some of that got kind of lost or broken. The movies are connecting. The comics weren't connecting as much as of late, but he's going to change all that, and I believe him. He seemed really genuine, and it seemed like he was about to cry in his presentation. So I'm on board for that. I'm on board for everything DC's doing. Boom had a great showing, and I got to be a live hot dog. I went into a life-size hot dog bun for Cards Against Humanity. That was fun. But moving on to the comics this week, small week. Next week is Action Comics 1000. This week we have this oversized hardcover of 80 Years of Superman. It was shrink wrapped. I didn't open it yet. You know, whatever. It is what it is. If you're a hardcore Superman fan, absolutely get it. If not, wait and see what people say. I'm not opening the shrink wrap, but you know, it's all like reprints and such. But I am excited for Action Comics 1000 next week. Tons of covers, one for every decade, and 80 pages, no ads, all the biggest creators. Brian Michael Bendis is very passionate about his Superman. I saw him at C2E2 as well. He seems like he has a new life, a new lease on life. He's enthused for his second career at DC after having an illustrious career at Marvel, inarguably. Even if you didn't like his writing, he created friggin' Jessica Jones. What have you created? Moving on. All right, Domino #1. This character was created by Rob Liefeld. I was there when it happened. I was buying the X-Force #1 off the shelves, and just loved everything he was doing. This is Gail Simone. Gail Simone had a run on Deadpool that was sort of slept on, but any real Deadpool fan will tell you that's where a lot of things came together. Joe Kelly and then Gail Simone really did some great work on that. And now she's doing stuff with Domino and I guess lots of other characters. His name starts with D. There's a Diamondback in here. There's Dazzler. There's Deadpool, obviously. It was a fun book. Her mutant powers, luck, shenanigans. It was great. And I love Gail Simone's voice. She has a voice for humor. And Domino is humor adjacent. So she plays great with that stuff. Exiles #1. This book was friggin' weird. Like, you could tell it's weird from the cover. Yes, as Blink, the character you need as the anchor for Exiles. She was the leader of Exiles before, when it had that crazy run of a long-ass run, actually. I really enjoyed X-Files and coming out of Age of Apocalypse, all that. This is, like I said, it's weird. There's Kamala Khan, Miss Marvel, but she's old, and she just wants to be called Khan. And there's Iron Lad, or Kang Jr., whatever you want to call him, from Young Avengers. And then there's Valkyrie, the Valkyrie from Thor Ragnarok. Never appeared in comics before. This is her first appearance. And some chibi Wolverine. He doesn't even appear in this issue. But I know that's weird. Verdict's not in on that. I don't know. We'll see next issue. But it was a fun first issue. It raised a lot of questions, and I'm in for a while. Let's see what happens. Chibi Wolverine is ridiculous. And Captain America 700, Mark Waid, Sam Nee. This is a huge issue for them. Wraps up a storyline they were doing. It's a huge issue number for Cap. It's not a good issue really to get in without reading the previous ones. It's not like Action Comics 1000 where it's all short stories, all iconic stuff. This is a great story, but it's the culmination of things. So if you want to get it for its historic value and read it and are super curious but interested, go back a few issues and just read their whole run. It hasn't been going for very long. And if not, I don't know. It has a great Jack Kirby backup, so there's that. And finally, Venomized. these weekly books are crazy hard to order for. Number 1 came out last week. Number 2 is out this week. It's jumping around. It's kind of like Spider-Verse, but, you know, Venomverse, Venomized. All the heroes and villains are getting Venomized, and it is just one of those things. It's one of those things. Do you want crazy Venom weirdness with everyone having ridiculous tongues and hyper-violence and just like a really extreme thing, but having fun with it? And this is Cullen Bunn. He's having fun. He is a good horror writer. He's written tons for Marvel, and this is just a fun romp weekly book. If you like Venom, you will love it. If you don't like Venom, you will hate it. So moving on. DC, Immortal Men. I was excited for this book. I liked the scene in Metal where I was like, oh shit, DC does have a whole lot of immortal characters. And do they ever actually hang out? And kind of like, I mean, they would be the real Illuminati if they're friggin' immortal. And there's plenty of them. There's ones you don't even think about, like Uncle Sam. Obviously, he's immortal. And obviously, Roz and Vandal Savage, characters who their whole shtick is being immortal. But this is some new characters, some characters that came right out of Metal. And it is Tinian writing, who was Scott Snyder's protege and now a great writer in his own right. He's writing a phenomenal run on Detective Comics, which does something really effed up to Tim Drake this issue. So that's why I was mentioning it. If you're a Tim Drake fan, see him yeah, I'm not going to spoil it, but he doesn't die, but it's pretty crazy. Immortal Men, Jim Lee's on art. That's what I wanted to say. Jim Lee's on art. So if you are a fan of Jim Lee's art, check out the first issue because it's absolutely his art. If you were curious about some of these characters from Metal, from the few panels they're on, check it out. And finally for DC, the DC Universe by Brian K. Vaughan. You know this name from Saga, Why Last Man, Paper Girls, now whatever he has coming up next, Bunker. That's going to be the first issue free on Free Comic Book Day coming up. But yeah, this is random ass stuff that he did. All great because he is a great writer, but random ass stuff that you would have a hard time collecting. It's all disc separate and back issue bins. Nothing's really worth that much, but it's hard to find. Now it's all in one cover that you can read and one sitting on the toilet bowl if you want your legs to fall asleep. So there's that. Love Brian K. Vaughan. Moving on to Image. Oblivion Song 2 is out. We still have plenty of ones. Kirkman's next big thing. I've enjoyed it. I've read the first 5 issues and the trade that he put out for retailers to say, hey, look, this is freaking awesome. Buy in. There's a twist at the end of issue 5 that's redonkulous. So 2 is out now. You can still get 1 from me, probably some other comic book stores. And I'm enjoying that book. And then finally, I know this is weird, Robocop Citizen's Arrest. This is Brian Wood on Robocop. Brian Wood from DMZ. Brian Wood, who has had an illustrious career on all kinds of hardcore stuff, all kinds of political stuff, satire stuff, political satire, and that's what this Robocop is. It goes back to the political satire roots of a world that is much like ours, where everything's run by your phone, your social media. They have an app where it's citizen's arrest. You take a picture of a crime and the person, and obviously there's facial recognition bullshit, but you take the picture, you snitch, you pay a small fee because, you know, they don't want to overrun the system and waste lots of taxpayers' money. So say you pay $10, but if it leads to a credible arrest, you get $100. So hey, snitches get money. I'm not going to say any bad words, but it was fun, and we got to see what happened to Robocop, where he's at, how he is basically a sad sack piece of shit right now, and his whole city, Detroit's gone to shit because of this app and because of the corporation running it, and I really enjoyed it. So if you ever liked Robocop, and if you ever liked Brian Wood, this is a book to check out. I'm sorry I'm promoting a franchise book. I also like creator-owned stuff. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.